Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Jonathan Maston. I am with you, or you're joining us today on the 91-Day Business Spotlight Live. And if you're not familiar with the way this works, it's really simple. Every day I interview 2 to 3 businesses for 10 to 15 minutes. We go live. We've got an audience of over about 30,000 people total. And we want to just promote these businesses and give you an opportunity to meet some of these amazing entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, I'm thrilled to have with me Jeff from Local Legal Marketing. And Jeff's going to share a little bit about what he does and who he serves. So Jeff, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do for the legal market?
Sure. Jonathan, first, we have an affinity for each other. We both rock the gray beard, but you have better at it than I am.
It's wisdom, Jeff. It's wisdom.
In my case, I think it's the impact of quintuplets.
There we go. That would definitely have something to do with it.
Anyway, yes, I'm with Local Legal Marketing. We are a digital agency that focuses specifically on the legal and law firm and legal services market. And our aim is to drive waves of new clients to our clients through smart digital marketing. It's just that simple. We are not focused on the people that say, well, if I get 1 or 2 more, it will have paid for itself. That doesn't fit our ethos. Our ethos is to drive waves of new clients to our clients. And to do that, we tend to eat around the corners. We make sure that our clients are visible where their competition hasn't thought of being yet. And so we create a very nice omnipresent strategy where all of a sudden people say, whoa, where'd they come from? And that's our love in life.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned something in there that I think a lot of our listeners may or may not fully understand, and that's an omnipresent strategy, which I'm a huge fan of. But Jeff, can you explain, as an attorney and somebody in the legal profession, or for that matter, anybody, what is an omnipresent strategy and why is that so important?
Omnipresent strategy is something I was introduced to at a conference in Miami at least 10 years ago. Way before the conferences where you and I actually started meeting each other.
Yeah.
And it was this guy that stood up and he said, people argue over whether you should be on Facebook or Twitter, now X, or LinkedIn or this or that. But if it is no extra effort, why are you not on all of the platforms?
Yes, absolutely.
And he went on to talk about people in general displaying their own bias when they thought about what to do with social media. And you can read them, right? They'll say, well, I was on Facebook, just a whole bunch of people looking at kitty cats and whining about this, that, and the other thing. Well, okay, so you don't like Facebook, but maybe your clients do, because it's an unbelievably quickly growing platform. And you don't believe in Reddit. Okay, you don't, but maybe some of your clients do. And you don't believe in LinkedIn. Well, you don't, but maybe you'll meet some of your clients there. And with the new tools that we have, we can create one piece of information, one good 1,200-word article that does a deep dive into a focus of some part of an attorney's business.
Yep.
And then we can take and chunk that up into pieces and run it through a syndication engine, which is the one we use is Hello Woofy. We use Hello Woofy. And we also use a plugin for WordPress sites so that as soon as that content is published, it is automatically broadcast out to about a dozen different social media platforms. That just creates an avalanche of good things. One of the things is every one of those posts become an authoritative backlink, which drives your search engine rank. The other thing is you reach people where you wouldn't have normally reached them. And you give them a consistent message across all of the different platforms. So omnipresent really means don't listen to your own bias when it comes to social media. It means simply get your word out to as many places as you possibly can, because you have no idea where your next customer is coming from.
I couldn't agree with that anymore. And I love that strategy. And I'm a huge proponent of it like you are. I agree. We all have our preferred platforms, and that's great. But it reminds me, I think the best analogy I ever heard, Jeff, I'd love your thoughts on this, where it's like if you were going to do radio advertising. Would you only advertise on the station you listen to, or would you advertise on the stations that your audience listened to, even if you didn't care for them? Well, the answer is, of course, you'd advertise on the stations where your audience was at.
Yep.
And that's really what social media is like. It's different channels for different people. So I love that. What's your thoughts on that analogy? Is it a good one or bad one?
I'll take you back to an actual meeting I had with a group of executives in an area that's not where I'm typically working. I'm typically working with law firms. This was a totally different business. It's kind of a favor for a friend. And we sat in a room with about a dozen executives. And the narrative was hilarious because I was trying to introduce them to the concept of broadcasting everywhere. And in the conversation, I said, we'll get this stuff published on Reddit, on Digio, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And the owner of the firm said, Reddit? Nobody's used Reddit that I know of for the last 15 years. Young guy right next to him, a VP, turned around and says, Reddit? Are you kidding? You can get us on there? I turn there all the time when I need help for. And at that moment, I kind of made my point. Your bias shouldn't drive what platforms you're on, especially, and here's the real big nut, especially when it doesn't take you an extra minute or an extra $5.
Exactly. And isn't that the best part of it? It doesn't take any more time. If we produce that content and share it out, it takes no more time. Whether you're using Hello Woofy, it's not one I'm familiar with, but I'm assuming that's a publication platform that helps you share across different platforms. There's lots of different options out there like that. There's no reason not to try to get in front. I mean, this is another question. I'd love your perspective on it. I know I talk to a lot of people, as you know, about topical authority and omnipresence, and just like you do. And I hear people go, well, if it's not going to go viral, I don't want to do it. And my reminder to them is, what would you pay if I could get you in a room with 100 of the perfect people that would do business with you? 100 people that needed your law firm in the case with your clients. What would that be worth to you? And they always sit back and they're like, wow, that'd be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm like, that's what we're talking about. You don't need 1 million views on your videos. If you consistently get a few hundred from the people that are likely to do business with you, when they have a need, guess who they're calling? They're calling you. You don't have to go viral. You just need to be present. Any thoughts on that?
I like the thought of water against rock. All right, so you get a little water against a rock, nothing happens. You come back a year later, next thing you know, most of the rock is missing.
Yeah.
You wear it down and it works that way. Yesterday, I sat with a client and the client had a marketing person and the marketing person asked the proper marketing question. What's our engagement rate?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what does it matter? And I thought they were going to drop out of their chair waiting for me to find some slick excuse. And I turned to the sales VP and I said, has anybody mentioned any of the content? He says, man, all the time. What you guys have been doing especially the last 3 months, I get people talking to me about it all the time. Now, that doesn't show on any of your analytics.
Yes.
Right? It's people that consume the content and they gain an awareness of who you are and what you do. And over time, a presumption that you're the expert in the field, because after all, they see you all over the place. Whether they pay attention or not, they see you constantly developing content that is helpful to them. And
100%.
Attorneys are loath to give reviews. Generally, they're loath to participate in this sort of back and forth conversation online and liking and sharing. But boy, you look at the meeting that I had yesterday, they consume this information. It doesn't show up on analytics, but you are absolutely consumed and you are absolutely presumed to be the expert in your space when you generate this content very, very consistency. It's to the point where I think the consistency is more important sometimes than the content.
I get where you're coming from, and I don't have an answer. I know both the content and the consistency are critical. But, I have an example in my personal life that just happened. I was invited to speak next week. I'm going to an event in Dallas. I'm speaking to 300 to 400 great targeted prospects for my audience, the type of people that I want to sell to. And I was invited to speak, not because I reached out and said, hey, would you please bring me, or here's all the value I could bring. But the organizer literally reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for somebody to talk to us about AI." And Jeff, you know, I'm an AI nut and I talk a lot
Mhm.
about that. Would you be willing to come to Dallas and talk to our audience about this? I didn't ask for that, but now I'm going to get in front of 300 people, maybe 400, and be introduced as an expert by the person who's running this entire event. That you can't buy that type of publicity.
Absolutely not.
You know, I got another email literally yesterday from a person I have never met, I have never spoken to, but connected with me on social media because, of course, probably like many, I'm Facebook friends with some people I don't know.
Mhm.
And he said, "Hey, I've been watching your videos for months. I've been reading your blog posts for months, just exactly what you're talking about, Jeff. I'm part of an organization. We'd be willing to fly you out to Seattle for 2 days, pay for your hotel, pay for all your expenses if you could spend a day talking to us." And he shared what it was about, and it was amazing. Yeah, go
Twist
ahead.
my arm, force me to
Yeah,
do this.
exactly. I mean, these are opportunities that you can't. And again, I never asked them to do it. And as you said, you know, they don't show, that doesn't show up in analytics. The fact that this person has seen my videos, has seen them. Now, maybe when they go visit my website, it shows up. By the way, just check my website. I don't know if you've seen this. Over 80% of my traffic is coming from those social media things that I'm doing that are pointing back to my website. It's creating those hooks. Are you seeing that same thing in the legal space as you work with attorneys?
Absolutely not.
Interesting.
Absolutely
Interesting.
not. Because and it's probably my fault. Fault's the wrong word. When we create content, deep content, all right. So we've
Mhm.
got the light content, the Monday, the happy stuff that you
Yes,
have there to
exactly.
make sure that you present the character of your organization. But when we do the twice weekly deep dives, I'll also turn around to my AI and say, create a 50 to 100 word email
Mhm.
that goes out to my list, compelling people to come and read about the topic. Now, what I get there is I get a tremendous amount of traffic from the email,
Mhm.
but not so much from the social media coming back to the site.
Well,
So
but again, you're getting traffic, and that's really cool. That's what
traffic
matters.
is traffic. And again, it comes back to the analytics. The analytics would
Absolutely.
say my social media campaign was a failure. The reality is, when I started using this combination of email and deep article on social media, my website traffic went from a dismal, you will laugh at this, Jonathan, sorry, a dismal 300 visits a month. And in 2 weeks, we were at 4,000.
Wow.
So the social media, was it a failure? Heck no. It was a part of the strategy and it all worked together synergistically.
I love it. I love it. And that's it. It's a series of events that come together to work together. It's not just one thing. It's that combination you're talking about. Well, Jeff, you've shared so much value with us today. I am so grateful. If people want to reach out and connect with you, Jeff, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, you can look for Jeff Folkersen on any of the major social media platforms. You can email me, Jeff at locallegalmarketing.com.
Awesome. There you got it. He's got it. Locallegalmarketing.com. Reach out to Jeff there. If you're in the legal profession and you're looking for someone to help bring you more opportunities, reach out to Jeff. He can help you do that. And I'm sure, Jeff, you probably don't charge anything for the first discussion, do you? It's probably worth having a discussion just to find out. Am I right about that?
Actually, what I tell customers is to take a look at their bank account, count their employees, multiply the number of employees by 20 so you can buy them all a great lunch because I want them all happy, and then just send me the rest.
There we go. I love it. I love it.
Yes,
Fantastic.
our initial conversation is free.
Jeff, thank you for joining us today. I so appreciate you taking the 15 minutes, and I appreciate all those you watching. We're actually almost at a high here. I'm watching the counter. This is great. We love this. Again, as a reminder, if you're watching, we do these 15-minute business spotlights 2 to 3 times a day, every weekday, and we're doing it for 91 days. We're doing 130 of these. I'm already booked solid for next week and booking into the following week. These are going to be gone before you know it, folks. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to promote your business, it's all about you, just like it was with Jeff today. mention it in the comments, say something to me, reach out to me. We'll get you a link to book your 15-minute session. With that, Jeff, thank you so much. Make it a great day. And thanks everyone for joining us. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jonathan.